Man, I miss Dipset. I really miss Dipset. That was hands down one of the most fun eras in hip hop history. Man, what Cam and his crew did with those doggone 80s sounds and that rock and roll retro flow. Oh my goodness. At one point, anything could be playing. I'm talking about it can be straight up Beethoven playing, and in the back of your mind somewhere you was like, killer. Shout out to Flea. I mean, in the back of your mind somewhere you was like, Dipset. It didn't matter what it was. If you was around the hip hop scene between like 01 and like 07, yo, these was those guys that was making you smile. That Harlem swag was, ooh, it was so fun. And that was cool because it provided this real dope balance to what was coming out of Harlem. Because you had it go all the way pop with Mace and the kind of sound that Puff had for him, the kind of sound that Diddy had for him. Also, likewise, to an extent, for Biggie, but it wasn't the same. Biggie stuff was all the way gully, but with battle rap type of energy, and still he had a pop track behind him. So it just made the gangster energy even more smooth, and it gave this battle ready, relentless type of delivery, this jazzy flexibility and fluidity and this smoothness and this coolness that was real dope. So in the middle of that, the hybrid of what came later was Dipset. They slowed the music way down, gave you a chance to swag. And do you know how confident you have to be in your bars to slow the music down? Because at that time, people were still on their hibbity-bibbity rap, you understand? It was still a lot of that going on. You know, if I'm not mistaken, to an extent, there was even a little hibbity-bibbity going into that SDE, you know what I mean? You know, at times, you know, it was still like that, you know, because we was still coming out in the 90s with it too. So you still had that kind of energy when dudes was like, you know, really, really tripling up. And it was like, you know what, I'm swagging out. I'm ready to lyrical miracle them real quick. And Cam was real good for that. You know, I remember what SDE was. I remember what Confessions of Fire was. I remember what that whole era was. But I really wanted to just take time out to really appreciate that because, yo, it was a fun time, yo. It was one of the funnest times in hip-hop, to be honest with you. And so when it came down to that Dipset versus D-Block versus battle, when it came to the Dipset Locks versus battle, I already knew what time it was. We all know who the Locks is. We know how they get down. It ain't no compromise in their style. Their battle rap energy had no compromise, no pop. They didn't choose to expand their sound in terms of like changing it. And this really helped them because those classics are still rock solid. You know what I mean? They still solid. You know what I mean? They still good. But we knew what time it was. That, you know, they're your rhymers, right? That's who the Locks are. I gotta give Cam so much props because he knew. You could tell in the battle he knew what it was before even going. But he truthfully is legendary enough to still stand up. And when you look at Cam's track record, yo, he was challenging everybody at some point. If it wasn't for nothing but a spat or just a quick 1-2 or a quick song or a couple or a verse or something, yo, he was really pulling his weight in that legendary sphere. So you don't have to have a whole bunch of like #1 hits and be leading pop your whole rap career to be considered a real diehard legend by the time this is done. So Fleet, wherever you at, yo, we appreciate it over here. You know what I mean? This Torian from Hartford, man. I was one of the rhymers from Connecticut that it was actually pushing in and out of New York without a deal. Without a deal. And still to this day, I never signed to anybody because I understand something. That in this time, we're procuring sound. And maybe I was like Prince in that regard, just knowing that, nah, man, hip hop gonna open up. I ain't signing, man. Hip hop, the world is gonna open up, because that's how I was in the 90s. I ain't know it was gonna be YouTube and all of that going on. But I was just like, look, I can't stop rapping anyway. I can't stop rhyming. It's a gift of mine. It's what I love to do. I'm not gonna stop. I don't care if I don't make money from it. I mean, now I care. I wanna get my pretty pennies out of it, because we had some good times in them CD eras making good music. And in that cassette era, I was making good music, even though it was off the karaoke machine in the bedroom raps. I was really selling them at school, $5 a pop, and that was back in the day, man. So people was just off the novelty that you was doing something. They was like, yo, you really did this at your crib? Yo, this is hot. I was like, it ain't hot, it ain't speak it up or nothing. This is from Walkman to Walkman type of thing. And they was loving it. And it was like, yo, home hot. Yo, you keep doing what you're doing. So 20 something years later, yeah, I'm still doing that. Yeah, I mean, I moved on, but never from what I love to do. And that's what I like about them too. You know what I mean? Especially Cam. Even I bet you he got something new coming out right now. Right now. Even knowing that he's not trying to prove anything else in hip hop, but when you love it, and it's there, and I could tell that he loves it. So shout out to that. I was just listening to Ghetto Heaven the other day. That intro is one of the hardest beats of all time. I really wish that Fleet would have rhymed on that doggone intro for Ghetto Heaven. I'ma bump that right now. I'll get up with y'all in a minute. Namaste, know yourself for yourself. If it takes 1 million videos to reach 1 million views, so be it. But on that rhyme level, anybody who's everybody, my name is Torian, also known as Super T Sigma. Look for the playlist that got the baby pictures on it. I am coming. Peace.